The old Caitlin Clark isn't the only one changing the WNBA conversation has been resurrected. And while yes, that is technically true as basketball is a team sport, there are some nuances to it and I have my own take on this conversation. So let's dive in. So there was just an article that came out from ESPN in which Caitlin Clark's agent, Erin Kane, was interviewed. So, of course, she is going to be talking about Caitlin Clark as she is her agent. And there is a show called the We Talk Now podcast, and they had a little something to say about it. So the podcast is hosted by Alicia Jay and Ashely Nicole Moss. And I have to just first state that Alicia Jay was the person who has the opinion that Caitlin Clark is not the only person who is moving the needle for the WNBA. She does attribute much of the success of the WNBA to Caitlin Clark, but she comes in with the old, it's not just Caitlin Clark, it's other people too. And while yes, I 1000% agree that Caitlin Clark cannot be the only person to affect change in a team sport, it's just kind of a bit of a tired conversation to not recognize that she is pretty much the reason that the WNBA is on the map the way that it is. It's hard as somebody who does like the WNBA as a whole. I am not just a Caitlin Clark fan. I am a big Caitlin Clark fan, but I do love so many aspects of the WNBA. I watch almost every game, every season, so, I can't not love it. But I cannot be so blind as to state that Caitlin Clark is not the needle mover of the WNBA as it stands today. And I think because there is such a backlash against Caitlin Clark's successes and her failures, a lot of people do want to come rushing in and defend Caitlin Clark at all costs. And sometimes the conversation is kind of off-putting, and it does make you want to say, hey, listen, she has single-handedly affected the most change the WNBA has ever seen, from not a lot to stratosphere style. The way that people go about it, there are a lot of people who take the more aggressive approach. I like to take the more logical approach and see things from multiple views and multiple sides. I do want to show you the clip, and afterwards I want to give you my hot take, my assessment of the situation as it is.
The person interviewing said, will Caitlin Clark ever be paid by the WNBA what she's really worth to that league? And Erin said, I don't think that's possible. She's part of a larger player body. They all need to be paid more. She should be recognized for what she has done and what she's brought to the league from an economic standpoint. It's as simple as that. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about this. She also went on to say that she's very, very hopeful for the current CBA negotiations and pushing the line forward on player salaries. And the most important thing has always been getting WNBA players paid for what they do on the court. And so it's important to note that, obviously she's not an agent just for Caitlin. She has a lot of WNBA players underneath her as well. And to me, as I understand that Caitlin is, one of her clients, probably, I don't want to say her biggest one, but definitely one that she focuses a lot on, I'm sure. And so she's going to say this.
The thing with this statement right here is that she was specifically asked about Caitlin Clark, so why would she not reply specifically about Caitlin Clark? Now, just to let you know that this agent, Erin Kane, she is also Nafisa Collier's agent. She's Arike Ogunbowale's agent. So she could be talking about other players, but in the specific instance, when she is asked about her specific player, you typically want to respond to the question.
And a lot of people had things to say about positioning just Caitlin Clark, which I agree with, because she's not the only player that brought in revenue. She's not the only player who's bringing in eyes. She's brought in a lot. Her impact is great, but you could say the same thing for the entire rookie class that came in last year.
And that was the statement that I think has people in a bit of an uproar. It's not just Caitlin Clark isn't the only rookie that's bringing eyes into the league. And so I started thinking about this today, and I started thinking about all the other rookies. And I started thinking about where they would be without the presence of Caitlin Clark in basketball. So let's just do a hypothetical. Let's take Caitlin Clark out of the WNBA. Let's take her out of the basketball world in general. So who are the other players that are bringing eyes to the league and that have been touted as bringing eyes to the league? Angel Reese, one of them. Now, this is not a dig on Angel Reese or anything. Please, don't take this that way. But where would Angel Reese be without the whole "you can't see me"? And real quick, if you guys don't know what the "you can't see me" thing and where it came from, it originated from a WWF move, and it's just something that a lot of players do in celebration. And Caitlin Clark actually had beat LSU and did the "you can't see me."
Caitlin Clark brought it back to the WWF days with the "can't see me." I kind of like that one. I mean, after you hit 18 step-back threes.
She was doing it to her strength training coach. A lot of people thought she was doing that towards the LSU players. I think they thought she was specifically doing it towards Hailey Van Lith, of which Hailey Van Lith denied and said, "Oh, no, she wasn't doing it to me. That's funny, haha." A lot of people think that. The next season, LSU comes back and beats Iowa, the year they won the Natty, and Angel Reese just starts going, "You can't see me," back to Caitlin Clark, trash court talk. A lot of people think it was uncalled for. I mean, I'm like hey, talking trash on the court is on the court. You do what you got to do. She did, kind of follow her around a little bit. Caitlin just totally ignored it, and it is what it is. But the rivalry was set, so it could be argued that a lot of Angel Reese's celebrity came from that, because that was talked about. That whole "you can't see me" went viral and garnered a lot of attention. And another huge rookie, Kate Martin. She has made a big imprint on the WNBA marketing-wise with the sale of her jersey. And I gotta say, she played on a team with Caitlin Clark. Would that team, without Caitlin Clark, be what they were? Would Kate Martin be able to put up the numbers that she was able to put up without the gravity that Caitlin Clark had on the court and giving Kate Martin more open looks? This is not a dig at the way that Kate Martin plays, because she has obviously proved herself, but Kate Martin was not invited to the 2024 WNBA draft. She went there to support her friend Caitlin Clark and just got her name called. The Las Vegas Aces selected her as the 18th overall pick, and they garnered a whole bunch of new fans from the Kate Martin following from Iowa, who was on a team with Caitlin Clark. This conversation is always hard because it comes with a lot of feelings from both sides. And listen, Caitlin Clark would not exist if it were not for the WNBA. The thing is, though, is I don't really remember any conversations like this happening when Michael Jordan was in the NBA. We were all able to be fans of other teams back then. And I want to reiterate, this is not shade to Angel Reese. This is no shade to Kate Martin. We're more talking about what the Caitlin Clark effect has done for the brand of the WNBA and where it would be without her. What would the television ratings for the WNBA look like? What would the jersey sales in the WNBA marketing department look like? How many WNBA hashtags would there be on social media? Would Stephen A. Smith actually mention the WNBA? How much would these WNBA franchises be worth if she had not entered the league? Would there be these expansion teams happening? Would there be 44 games instead of 40 from last season? If we want to talk outside of the rookies, would Lexi Hull be an Unrivaled? Would Aaliyah Boston? But, this was about rookies, so let's keep the main thing the main thing. Anyway, I've gone on too much of a rant. I do want to say that I have hit the 5,000 subscribers mark on YouTube, and I can't just express how grateful I am to the community here. I pretty much hard launched and decided to go full throttle into YouTube at the beginning of January, where I think I had 52 subscribers, and I now in the middle of February have over 5,000. So I am so appreciative to everybody here. I read your comments because honestly, the comments have helped me develop what works, what doesn't work, as I'm just navigating the world of YouTube, because I'm not new to content creation, but I am new to YouTube. It's a whole new different format. And I do notice so many of you that are in my comments a lot. And I really do try to hop in and have dialogue with a lot of you. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the subscribes. I don't generally like to do a lot of these ranty style videos, because I do love, my favorite thing is to talk about the best parts about basketball. But sometimes you gotta just let it out, right? Anyway, I can't wait for the WNBA season to start. that is when we're gonna have like so much fun. And I am constantly looking to get better at a lot of things, like keeping eye contact with the camera is one of them. But I will say that the reason I do look away a lot is it's just the way that my mind works. Even like in real life, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, when I'm really thinking about something, I look away a lot. It's like this form of focus and concentration that just works for me. And I also do have a little dog, which I know a lot of you have like seen peeks of every once in a while walking around here. And I do want to introduce him at some point too. His name is Hugo. And I do have a Twitter, which I've had for a very long time, but I really just started kind of like diving in and giving like thought nuggets in the past, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks. I should probably link it on my channel somewhere too. But it is under Rosalina Lee, so if you want to just have any like dialogue there, you can find me that way. I also just realized that I think I might have recorded the whole thing with my little microphone turned upside down, but that is another thing I will probably be investing in the very near future. But the bottom line is just thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for giving me any of the time to watch any of these videos that I cobble together. Thank you for being pretty kind in the comments. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. And I will see you next time.